Joining us now on the line is Ann Coulter, the best-selling authoress of many New York Times top-selling books, like Resistance is Futile, her latest book. Ann Coulter, thanks for being with us here on the Howie Carr Show.
Absolutely. What a great day to be alive. Elizabeth Warren is an Indian after all.
We were just reading, Steve was just reading the thing from the AP. They're making it sound like Trump is attacking her, even though she's conclusively proven that she's an Indian. or a Peruvian, maybe. You know? I mean, this is ridiculous.
It's like the mainstream media doesn't know there's an internet. They can just say anything. 1/1024th Indian, i.e. less than the average American. Definitely not enough to be a Cleveland Indian and bobblehead.
Or a cigar store Indian, for that matter.
Right, and the Cherokee Nation, of course, has disavowed her and said this is outrageous. How dare you claim to be a Cherokee? But all the headlines...
She switched tribes. She switched tribes, Ann. She's now a native.
Oh, to the Delaware.
No, she's a native. That's what she is now. But you're right. I mean, all the headlines say that, she's proven her case. You know?
Yeah.
And how about the Boston Globe?
Globe's correction was great, I think.
I know. I love that. But you know, the thing is, we were talking about this yesterday, and all the Moonbats posted the original story that said she was 132nd Indian, and I don't think the Globe cared that they had to run the correction. I mean, maybe they even ran it wrong on purpose just so everyone could post it. None of those people, none of that crowd saw the correction, or that none of them care about the correction.
Fair point. Though I think this is why most people get their news from Twitter now. Twitter and talk radio, the only reliable sources of information. I mean, the media has just decided in the era of Trump, we don't care, we're going to completely lose our credibility, but it is pedal to the metal to attack Trump and anything he does or says.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, another thing they're not reporting on, and we just did it with Grace, after the Cherokees attacked her, pretty severely last night around 5:30, 6 o'clock Eastern, she went on this Twitter rampage for over an hour, 26 tweets, and they accused Donald Trump or even you, Ann, of being deranged on Twitter. But I mean, this woman was totally out of control. You know,
Elizabeth Warren, what was she tweeting?
Oh, we just did the whole thing. I mean, we'll send you. We'll send you the whole thing. I mean, it was just. Donald Trump is a cowardly elitist, and he's running a con game. And Elizabeth Warren accusing someone else of running a con game.
Right.
I mean, it's just amazing. And again, she got it was crazy, but I don't think most people understand how crazy she was. And I think it was just that she was taking a lot of heat because she really thought that this was going to be like a slam dunk for her. And I don't think it is, really. I mean, again, with her low-info voters.
No, it's a slam dunk against her. I mean, you don't have to pretend to be even-handed here, Howie. It's ridiculous. I mean, I do think it's sort of surprising that she even asked for this to be done once it was pretty much clear that she had no Indian blood in her and used it in an affirmative action scam. I'm surprised we don't have more affirmative action scams like this. I mean, that was her big selling point for the diverse Harvard faculty. She was billed as an Indian. She contributed to the Pow Wow Chow cookbook. I really am surprised more people are not just checking off Black, Native American, that sort of thing on their college applications. It's mostly college applications. I don't think you see as much of this, maybe I'm wrong, in hiring for jobs. But I guess we'll have to go back to the old South blood tests on what percentage actually makes you someone deserving of preferred treatment in America. Because, of course, we're living in an America with white privilege. It's just that no one wants to be white because you won't be admitted and you won't get the job.
Right. Well, that's the whole thing that she's gone back to the one drop rule. She's the classic Democrat, right? One drop makes you apparently non-white as far as she's concerned. By the way, here's some of the things she advised people to tune out the lies. Okay? And if you're tired...
Wait, but the facts are the facts. I don't understand what lie. The fact is she's 1/1024th Indian. The experts she chose to look into this for her. That's what he came up with. So what is the lie? It's a lie that 1024th isn't full-blooded Indian? I don't understand what the argument is here.
Yeah.
Right? This was her hired expert. This is like, Christine Blasey Ford taking her own polygraph and then releasing the results. She hired this guy. So what's the lie?
Right. Well, she's talking about the lies by Donald Trump, and she's what else is she saying? He cheats. That's another thing. Everybody's cheating. I mean, she's the cheater here, right? She cheated. She cheated her way up the academic totem pole.
I think the hilarity of your longtime mascot being fully exposed to the world is causing you to lose your mind. She has been completely exposed, Howie.
No, I understand.
No weighing of the evidence here, and
I get it. And I said my column the lead in my column today was Elizabeth Warren is still a fake Indian. I understand that. I'm just saying. I'm just talking about how the mainstream media is trying to portray it. And by the way, here's one. This is the first tweet in this series. We all know why real Donald Trump makes creepy physical threats about me, right? I mean, I think we would know about these creepy physical threats if he'd actually made any.
I think we know too. That's one good thing. You can always fact check their crazed claims about Trump with the question, would we know about this if it were true?
Right. How about this one? Ann? Since you missed Grace's Academy Award-winning presentation, this is the second tweet. Bottom line: my heritage played no role in my hiring ever. The Boston Globe reviewed all the evidence.
Well, if that's the case, the Chinese ought to include it in their lawsuit against Harvard. Certainly black students and absolutely Native Americans should, because Harvard isn't doing affirmative action right if it didn't play a role.
Yeah, that's another irony here, and again, it hasn't gotten much play, that she released this fabricated DNA test on the same day that the trial against her former employer began in federal court here in Boston. I mean,
right.
It's rather ironic, isn't it? I mean, she's running a scam, and Harvard has been running a scam for all these years. I mean, Harvard, a century ago, Harvard was discriminating against Jews for the same reason they're discriminating against Asians, because they were doing too well. And they didn't want to admit it. And so nothing has really changed here, has it?
But the weird thing about this is, I mean, normally the massive double standards you get on the left, it will be, no, it's okay for a governor of a state to have state employees bring a low-level employee to his hotel room, drop his pants, and say, kiss it. That's not sexual harassment at all. And then, when Brett Kavanaugh was a drunken freshman in college, he dropped his pants. And I have a recovered memory of it 30 years later. So one is taken, feminists scoff at it. Said Clinton saying kiss it. That's nothing but recovered memory of Kavanaugh dropping his pants as a drunken college freshman. No, that's a rape. That's rape. That's rape. Usually there are 10 years separating these things, or at least a few years. The strange thing about affirmative action / Pocahontas is simultaneously these organizations like the New York Times with Jason Blair, Harvard with Elizabeth Warren, they brag and brag and brag about affirmative action. We have lots of affirmative action. Just apply and look at all the diversity, and we're going to pick people on the basis of diversity. We will discriminate against white people. Don't worry. And then when we find out that one person lied in order to take advantage of affirmative action for Native Americans, what are you talking about? I mean, it's simultaneous. It's from one sentence to the next, as opposed to two completely separate instances. Here, Harvard bragged about Elizabeth Warren being a Native American. Diversity, right. Diversity.
And how about she says, "Well, this never helped me get a job." However,
no,
again,
she was
an instructor. Yeah, she was an instructor at the University of Texas Law School, which isn't a bad law school from what I understand, but she was an instructor. And it's not an
not
Ivy League
Harvard.
school. Right, or University of Pennsylvania. So she suddenly decides in the mid-'80s to list herself as a minority and appears in these minority guidebooks, which are basically used as hiring guides to, do away with your diversity problem if you're the dean of the law school. And all of a sudden,
Right.
she's working first at the University of Pennsylvania and then at Harvard University Law School. And she wants us to believe that it had, because she's been cleared by the Boston Globe, which
Right. It's just like Jason Blair. The Times bragged and bragged and bragged about their affirmative action program to bring in black reporters, and then, oops, it turns out Jason Blair is making everything up. And what are you talking about? Well,
Right.
if they're not doing this, then they're not doing affirmative action. I don't think they act like they can give preferences on the basis of race, and no one else is allowed to notice that that's what they're doing as they're bragging about it.
And then she's got different stories. First, she said, I put down that I was Native American because I wanted to get invited to the lunches of the Native American groups. That was a good story.
For the 1,000th and 1,024th
Right.
Indians,
And then
because they have
now she
special
says,
recipes.
and now she says, I applied because my elderly matriarchs in my family were dying. So what does that have? So I decided to become an Indian. I decided to become a member of an ethnic group I didn't belong to. Ann, thanks for being with us. Ann Coulter, the best-selling author. Resistance is Futile is the title of her new book. I'm Howie Carr.